I analyzed the top 100 clothing stores that opened in 2024 on Etsy, and I noticed some specific strategies that all of them were using that you might not be aware of. So in this video, I'll break down the 6 specific strategies that these brand new top sellers are using to grow their Etsy stores fast right now. Like what specific pricing and sales strategies they're using to rocket launch their stores, what particular products they're actually selling in their stores, and even some top niches that many of these stores are actually all selling in so that you can fast track your Etsy success as well. All of these stores have opened within the last 2 to 7 months and have made anywhere from $5,800 in profit all the way up to $53,000 in profit since opening their stores. And one of these stores already has over 8,000 items sold for the year of 2024, and they just opened. So if you were thinking that there's no way to be successful with Etsy print on demand with shirts, then I hope that this video changes your mind. Let's start with how much work these stores actually had to put in to get that many sales. Starting with how many listings these stores actually have in their store, only 2 of them had less than 100 listings in their store, with the average of all of them actually being 522 listings for sale in their store, and quite a few of them actually already had over 1,000 listings in their store in the first few months of opening. On average, these top stores have put up 86 listings per month since opening, and that's about 3 listings every single day consistently since they opened. That is a ton of time and energy that these stores have put into their shops to get the sales that they have, but you can see it's absolutely paying off. So strategy number 1, find a way to list consistently in your store while still making well-researched designs to get yourself to that 500 to 1,000 listings range. But don't worry if you already have hundreds of listings in your store and you're not getting the sales that you want. Some of these other strategies should help with that as well. And that leads us right into strategy number 2, which is creating scalable designs. Now this strategy is one that I've used for years in my shop as well, and has helped me grow my Etsy store to over $800,000 in sales since I got started. The idea with scalable designs is that you come up with one really great looking design that's based on research, and then you change the words and post it to another niche. I'd say most commonly you'll see this strategy used in niches like different professions. So they'd make a design for a teacher, and then they change the words and make it for a nurse, or change the words and make it for a social worker. But this strategy can really work in tons of different niches, because if you come up with a trendy design style that adds value and just change the words and put it into a new niche, you can get into a lot more places on Etsy a lot faster. I definitely saw a lot of the top sellers using this strategy in a particular niche that we'll talk about in the niche section later on as well. I do cover making scalable designs in my course, the POD Roadmap, but if you want me to make a scalable designs tutorial here on YouTube, then comment, I don't know, the word poodle down in the comments below, and I'll consider making a tutorial for that. And while you're down there, maybe you'll consider subscribing. Now let's talk about sales and pricing strategies. It's a really popular strategy on Etsy to run a sale in your store, but what percentage off is the best one to run? Of all of the stores that I studied, only 3 of the top stores didn't have a sale at all. The rest of them had a sale of anywhere from 30% to 70% off, with the majority of them being between 40% and 60% off. The next pricing strategy that almost all of these stores used was a loss leader. If you're not familiar with what a loss leader is, this is the strategy where you make one item in your listing a lot less expensive than all of the rest. This could be one color of a size extra small, or this could be the smallest size of a baby bodysuit. But in either case, you price this quite a bit lower than the rest of the items in the listing. The reason why this is a popular strategy on Etsy is that in the Etsy search results, they show you the lowest price of that listing in the search results. So it makes it look like your item is a little bit less expensive. A lot of people like to hate on this strategy and say that it's clickbait, or that customers won't like it, or that they wouldn't shop a listing that had that, but the research never lies. Only 7 of the top stores that I researched didn't use a loss leader strategy. The top sellers that did use the loss leader strategy used anything from a small size of one of the items to including baby items in their listings, and they charged anywhere from $4.99 all the way up to $19 as their loss leader. So totally up to you. They really were a big range of how much people charged for their cheapest item. So strategy number 3 is consider using sales and loss leaders in your listings. Now, don't feel like you need to go back and add this to every single listing that you have, as a lot of those listings have probably already gotten their rankings and it might not make a big difference or be really the best use of your time. So I would recommend testing this yourself and creating new listings that have loss leaders. And I think that would be the best use of your time, so you could really test and see if you start seeing a really big increase with the new listings that you make or not. So now a really exciting one. What products are these clothing stores that opened in 2024 and sold anywhere from 800 to 8,000 items already actually selling? One of the stores was a baby clothing only store. One was a sweatshirt only store. 2 of them actually sold baby tees as their main product. This is where you use a kid's shirt like the 5000B and have it for adult women to wear, or you can actually use something called a baby tee, which is a women's kind of really much more fitted, smaller cropped shirt. 6 stores mainly sold just Comfort Colors t-shirts, and that's it. And the vast majority of the rest of the stores actually sold the exact same thing, which was either the Bella Canvas 3001 shirt or a Gildan t-shirt, but they also included children's sizings like kids shirts, baby onesies, and maybe even sweatshirts or tank tops, all within one listing. This is called a multi-product listing. I've long kind of said that I don't really recommend doing multi-item listings with Printify, and that's because print on demand to me has always been supposed to be an automated process. And when you make these multi-item listings, it does become a little bit more manual. Either right when you list it, it'll take quite a bit longer, or once it finally sells, it can take a little bit longer. And it's just a little bit complex of an idea for a brand new seller. But looking at how many of these brand new sellers are really having success with this has me kind of rethinking that thought. And I did already film a full tutorial for multi-item listings, and that will be coming out in the next week. So make sure to like this video and subscribe if you do want the full tutorial on how to make listings just like all those top sellers are. So strategy number 4 is consider creating multi-product listings. So if you're selling clothing like all these stores are, then that would be including other sizes in the same listing as well. So now that we know what pricing strategies and what products these top sellers are selling, let's jump into what niches have actually been the most profitable for all of these stores. Now, I do want to add real quick that I did weed out any stores that were selling mainly trademarked and copyrighted items like Disney stuff in their stores, so nothing like that was included in the research. And I won't be sharing any of their store names or actual listings, just because I don't think it's fair that any new small business would get put on blast on a video like this, where it's potentially going to get thousands and thousands of views. So to start off with, 100% of the stores that I studied were general stores, not niche stores. So that means they sold anywhere from 2 to 3 different niches in their store, anywhere up to maybe 50 or 60 different niches in their stores, instead of just one niche. So for example, instead of having a store just about teachers, maybe they sold teachers and nurses and social workers, along with just cute Halloween designs. A few of them did only sell one product type, like kids shirts, t-shirts, or sweatshirts, but most of them had a couple of those different products for sale in their store in general. I looked at the top 20 listings in each of these stores and made a list of all of the niches that they sold in that had anywhere from 30 sales to hundreds and hundreds of sales on a brand new listing, and put them in a list here for you, because it was really interesting that they mostly had a lot of these niches in common. And I'll share that list with you so you can consider getting into some of these really profitable niches for 2024 as well. So starting off on the low end, but again, these were all really profitable ones for these stores as well, just not as many stores were selling in these niches. We have Pride Month, mom shirts, feminist shirts, and Juneteenth shirts. The next chunk, a few more stores were all selling in, which was reading shirts, autism, hobbies, and Halloween. Getting into some of the bigger niches that quite a few of these sellers were selling in, we have graduation, back to school, teachers, and 4th of July were all really big categories in quite a few of these stores. The next biggest chunk was sports themed, birthday themed, and professions themed. For professions, I kind of made it more general, but there was lots of different professions that quite a few of them sold in. And then for our biggest 3 niches that the majority of these stores all sold in, we have Christian shirts, funny shirts, and last but not least, political shirts. The thing that I find really interesting about this list is the majority of these top niches for all of these top stores are tied to some kind of holiday, season, or appreciation day. There were a few niches like the reading niche and the funny shirts that really could sell all year round, but the majority of the listings that got hundreds of sales after only being posted for a few months really had to do with something that was super viral at the time, like the upcoming Mother's Day holiday, 4th of July, Autism Awareness Month, graduation, or obviously political designs, which are selling really well on Etsy right now. So strategy number 5 is designing 8 to 12 weeks in advance for holidays, seasons, appreciation days, or events that are coming up going to be really popular on Etsy. If you can design for these in advance and have items up for sale as soon as customers are shopping for them, then you can find success just like this. If you're not from the US, or if you're just not sure exactly what holidays, appreciation days, and etc. sell well on Etsy, then I will link my print-on-demand niche calendar down below that gives you 40 plus niches to design for all throughout the year and exactly when you should be listing them. The last lesson to take away from all of these top selling stores is their best selling listings that they had. There wasn't just one item for sale for that niche. There was actually a bunch of other listings that they had for the exact same one. So let's say their top selling item was a political shirt. They didn't just have one political shirt. They probably had 30 or 50 political designs for sale in their store as well. One of the reasons why I think this strategy works really nicely is when you're on an Etsy listing and you scroll to the bottom, it'll show you more designs by that seller, and it'll actually pull the ones that are for the exact same niche that you're looking at. But besides that, I think it's a really good idea to test different design strategies and try different styles and different sayings to figure out how you can add value and really learn that niche instead of just posting one listing for sale in that niche and wondering why it didn't do so well. So strategy number 6 is to make multiple designs for every niche that you design for. In my course, I recommend anywhere from 8 to 15 to get started with, and then if anything gets favorites or sells, then you can double down and make even more designs for that niche since you know there's demand.